Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. This guest today is someone that I'm kicking myself. Why didn't I think of this sooner? You're an idiot, Ron. You're just an idiot. This is the first 202 world champion, which is now called 212. He was the pioneer champion of that lightweight division that is now called the 212. He's still on top of the game. Took a very close second at the Arnold Classic last year and is coming back this time in 2 weeks from tomorrow, actually, or 2 weeks from today as this posts, to get that title. David Henry, thanks for joining us, David.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So I usually start out with the early years because a lot of the viewers aren't familiar with that, and sometimes I forget. So I used to tell the legend of David Henry. You tell me if I'm probably remembering it wrong, so you gotta help me out. No problem. We did an interview years ago. It was probably like, oh boy, I want to say maybe almost 15 years ago, where you talked about how you got into competing, and I've been telling the story that you competed in your first contest, and I don't know if you won or you placed as a teenager before you started bodybuilding. Is that right?
That's correct. I mean, I did place. I took third in the lightweight novice division when I was 16 years old.
Wow. And you had not started weight training yet, right?
I ain't touching weight.
So I got to know, how did that happen? How did you end up in a bodybuilding contest?
Somebody spotted me in the high school field house, man, and said, because I was running track and field at the time, and said, man, you should do a bodybuilding show. I'm like, fuck is that? So I did, I cussed quite a bit as a teen, and it just increased my ability. So it's become it's my second language. But so they convinced me to do it, and I didn't know what I was doing. So my mom happened to work with someone who knew of another person who showed me how to get some poses in. And at that time, man, as you see today in some of these organizations, boy, we call them doinkers. They do that's what I was doing, man. I was hitting side chests, all ridiculous and stuff and things. And I've been through it a couple times. I had some Rich Gaspari trunks, I remember at the time. Nice teal blue, not very flattering. Yeah. But yeah, I was 100 and I think I was 145 pounds at the time.
I wish I had the picture throw up because I remember we did this for a star profile interview for Muscle Mag. Now I remember.
Oh, it just so happens that I actually have.
Oh, thank you.
My phone.
This is awesome.
And I've got I got some.
Because you were ripped. You were in condition that a lot of people that are have been competing for years and are twice that age, you never see on them. But there you were, 16 years old.
Yeah. And everybody likes to make excuses on why they can't get a certain spot and whatever. It's like, you know what? I'm all set with your excuses, guys. Just put it out. Just suck it up. You suck and you'll never get there because you're making too many excuses. Me at 16, I don't know if you can see this, but myself and Reggie, how close can I get?
Boy.
There we
go. There we go. Now lower it a little bit. Lower it. Yeah, a little more. Now it fills up the frame perfectly. Oh, now it's gone.
Okay.
Oh, I saw it. You saw it there for a second.
Yeah, so let me see.
When someone named Reggie.
Yeah, he was 18. There I was at 16.
Up higher. Up higher. Bring it up a little higher, David, if you want.
You see the period correct.
No, you got to bring it up. My screen's not seeing all that. So bring it up.
All right.
There you go. Is that you on the? Is that you?
Left. The blue.
Okay, move it over there. Move it over this way.
Come on, all black people don't look the same.
No, you can only see one person on the screen.
Anyway, it's
let
there.
me just describe it for everyone who didn't see. He looked like a bodybuilder already. A small bodybuilder, but the shape, the cuts, you could look at him and say, this kid's going to be a pretty good bodybuilder, and you weren't even a bodybuilder yet.
No, not at all. So, I competed downtown San Antonio, where I'm from, and it was interesting. I took a third in lightweight novice class at the Wildcard Classic, and from there I just got my little bead trophy of the front double bi dude in a little tilted pose, and put it on the shelf, man, and never looked at it again.
Really? So I mean, what was the experience, or what made you want to actually become a bodybuilder, or was there a time where you stopped? You didn't pursue it until later.
That wasn't even my game plan. I wanted to be a WWE wrestler. So at the time it was WWF.
Right.
But because a certain organization had issues with the WWF that involved animals, they made them change their name.
That's right.
As you know.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, I wanted to be a WWE wrestler first and foremost and stuff. I was just too short at the time of the trials. I didn't make everything. I made everything. I tried out when I was in Korea the first time. And
I got to interrupt you. Did it kill you when you saw Rey Mysterio a few years later?
Yeah, man. I was like, are you kidding me?
Because he's like 5'4", isn't he?
I don't know how tall the dude is. Really, he wasn't an ideological figure of mine at the time. But I did see his little short ass running around doing stuff. I'm like, are you kidding me? So you know, I believe the cutoff when I was trying out was 5'8", but I made everything else. So it wasn't like I didn't have it all there. The height just wasn't there. And I was like, oh, shit, I'll never be that. So those dreams were crushed. I still watch it. I still participate in the viewing like any other male soap opera.
Yeah.
You know, just knowing that I can't, that those times are past, man. So
did you have a Royal Rumble party a couple weekends ago?
No, not at all.
Okay, you're not as big a wrestling fan as my buddy Derek, because he had one.
No. I've long past the wrestling fanism. You know, I put away my Stone Cold 316 shirts and all the rest of that stuff years and years back, man. But I still follow guys and things every now and then. I'll turn on when some programming on the satellite looks like crap, so I'll just put on something else. I'll put that on.
Yep. So you wanted to be a pro wrestler. That didn't happen. So what was it that got you finally interested and said, I'm gonna do this bodybuilding thing and put my efforts into it?
It was right after 9/11. So right after 9/11, my unit got tagged. We went over to the desert, and I was there for I was deployed for 5 months. I just I ate everything. I blew up. I trained with a bunch of powerlifters over there. I blew myself up to 191 pounds, I think. I think I went from 165 to 191. Wow. It wasn't very flattering, 191.
Still.
But, you know, I was eating over there. It's like, what else you got to do? I mean, we pretty much lived in the gym. I mean, and it wasn't really a gym. It was a tent, a California tent. And those that have played and stuff know how big those things really are. And inside there was all wooden plywood floor, and they had very limited equipment, but they did have pretty much everything you could do to get a pretty decent workout in. So I did a lot of that. And I came back and I was like, man, you know, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, I never wanted to be one of those guys saying I wish I could have, and at least not give it an effort. So I contacted Rich Doherty of Beverly International Nutrition and worked with him on my diet. And I said, man, I want to compete at the USAs. I got back. I got back in May of 2002.
Yeah, you turned pro in 2002.
Yeah, I got back in May of 2002, and I believe I only had from May to the end of July to prep for the USAs.
Right.
And that was a quick strip boogie, man. He said, okay, you're gonna do this, man. We gotta lay it all down. I did not know how to diet or anything previous to that, so I took everything he had. I was sucking down those Ultra 40 liver tabs and stuff, man, and all these different the proteins that they made and stuff like that. You know, again, didn't have any experience with that, so I sucked all that stuff down. Was eating like I was supposed to eat. Thought I was training like I was supposed to train. I still had no professional guidance with that part.
Yeah,
and dropped down to 161, man, and I was actually in real good shape.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So took second to Stan McQuay at the USAs after being told, you know, by Troy Moore. I remember as he walked by me, I had to be on the shoulder and said, I was like, what's up, man? He was like, hey, bro, just gonna let you know, you look fantastic out there, but you ain't gonna win this.
What?
That was the first time that I saw the politics of bodybuilding come in.
Wow. Because Stan had been around a while. He had placed.
We'll leave that shit alone. You know how.
All right, let's move on. So, and you had just come back from the desert somewhere. And you prepped for 2 months. Would you start at 191 pounds for that show?
Yeah.
So you dropped 30 pounds in 2 months, placed second in the entire country. to a guy that had been doing that for, Stan been around a while at that point. I know, I've known
Right.
Stan since before he started competing. So,
Yeah.
okay. So you turned pro that year, and there was no such thing as 202 division or anything.
No.
Typically, the guys that would turn pro, anything lighter than light heavyweight, the majority of them would either, up until this division was created, they would either never compete, they wouldn't bother. They'd say, okay, I got my pro card, but I can't do anything. Or they would do one pro show, and most of them would come in like way too heavy because they were trying to be bigger and fuller. And the condition wasn't there. And that was it. They get smoked, and you never see them again. What made you different? What made you know that you could hang with anybody if you really wanted to and you really put the effort in?
You know, I didn't have that mentality, man. I didn't think I could hang with anyone, that kind of stuff. I was determined. I was super pissed after the USAs, and I trained. I finally got a little bit of training from just people around the area of how to train a little better than I was. And I still was using Richard Doherty from Beverly National, and I was like, I'm doing the Nats this year, and I pulled myself up to a super ripped, silly looking 167 and a quarter for that show, and that's where I won straight ones across the board. I have the actual printed, filled in score sheet.
Yeah.
Till this day, I have that. Can't take that away. They can talk all the shit they want, everybody else on the internet, and run their mouth, but I've got the sheet. Yeah. So, and a lot of those guys that are on that sheet are current pros, and some have, long since and retired or just stopped competing. But that was a highlight, man. So I was like, after that, what do you do? I'm like, because I've seen the guys on stage, and I was like, damn, man, Lee Priest and all those guys at the time were just ridiculously big and had a shape of muscle that I just did not have. So I was like, man, so once I got that status, I made the moral and conscious decision to do what I did, and that's really about it.
Yeah. And you, so what was your first show after that? Pro show. What was your first pro show?
2004, bro. I did it all wrong in 2003. Apparently, I thought when you were a pro, again, with no one else's guidance, man, this is a big dummy at that point, with the whole bodybuilding thing.
Yeah.
I did not know that, I had my IFBB pro stuff. They sent me, the paper, to get my registration for it. But I did not know that if you wanted to do a contest, you had to get hold of the promoters and stuff then and request contracts, to sign them and stuff.
Yeah. And
get them done. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the GNC show of strength. I think that was the year that
Gunter beat Ronnie, right?
Yeah, Gunter beat Ronnie, bro. I was like, yeah, I was gonna do that. I'm talking it up and I'm training and and it came, and I didn't see anything, and I contacted her like, oh, bro, you're supposed to request a contract to compete, and I didn't have any sponsors and stuff, so I was like, well, that just fizzled out. And, all right, on to the next year. So this time, after that, I got it all straight, figured out how you're supposed to get a hold of these people and get to the shows and stuff. So 2004, I competed. I competed at the Ironman.
Yeah, I think I was at that show.
Yeah, the Florida Pro. I was taking a whole string of 7th places that year. I think like 4 times, like 4 7s. I was like, man, what? So
man.
That's when I actually contacted Dante Trudell from DC Training and stuff, and was bugging the shiznit out of him until he finally to take me on as a client. He just said because he doesn't train pros because they're bullheaded and don't listen, and especially dudes, they're knuckleheads. Especially if you've been training a certain way for a long time, they don't want to break themselves out of that mold and follow something totally different. So I finally got hold of him, and he after meeting Scott Stevenson, of course, when I moved to AZ, I met him in 2003, and he wasn't really a influence and training partner or anything like that during the time. I just caught him passing in the gym, and stuff, and he finally said, hey man, I see you're giving it efforts, man, but you can make it a better effort. Let me show you how. Started telling me about DC training. I started training with him, and at the end of 4, finally got hold of Dante. Dante took me under his wing, wrote the entire program out. I still have it printed, and followed that. I believe I put my name in for the Arnold Classic, man.
Oh yeah.
No, actually, no, I don't. So I take that back. My fault. 2005, I competed at the Ironman, and that was when you had Craig Titus.
Oh yeah, that's right. Craig was still around.
I placed right behind Craig Titus. I believe I placed 6 or something.
Wow. Not too
And
shabby.
I got a phone call from literally from Jim Lorimer. Said, "Hey Dave, this is Jim Lorimer." I was like, "Hey, yeah, what's up?" He goes, "I'm the promoter of the Arnold Classic. Would you like to do an Arnold?" I'm like,
What was it, a week later?
"Yeah, man." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "We loved your look. We were very impressed with how you did, and this is the first time we're ever inviting anybody who placed outside the top 5 to come compete at the Arnold Classic." And I said, "Hell yeah, why not?" I thought I was still in shape. Why not? Yeah. So he said, "Okay." He said, "I'll have my secretary contact you. We'll set up your flight and hotel stuff, man." And that was it, bro. He hung up the phone, and I got the contact information. He came in and shit, and there it was.
How did you do with that show? I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Dang. I think I took another
7.
Another 6 or something like that.
Okay. That's always strong, especially back then. The lineups were really strong.
Yeah, so that was happening there, and then that's later on. I picked up a MuscleTech contract. They were impressed with how I looked with stuff too, and later on, and jeez, man, it just started, snowballing.
That was that the year that they had they put on an event once. It only happened once, called the Wildcard Showdown.
Correct.
Is that it? 05? So it was held like the night before the Olympia, and it was open to. Was it open to anyone or?
Yeah, it was.
It's open to anyone. I think it was a good 15 or 17 or maybe even more guys in the show. Because
yes, it was. It was winner take all, $10,000. There was no second, third, or fourth place or any of that other shit. It was 10G, winner take all. Whoever was on there. I was on the stage, I think, with JD Dawodu.
There were some good guys. But the kicker was that you get to compete in the Mr. Olympia the next night.
Right. So the winner got to compete the next night on the Olympia stage with those guys, man. And, well, it was me. I won straight across. I was 187 pounds, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you have this, we call it, me and Jose, we call it the bubbly muscle. You have that round, bubbly look. So, I mean, that type of mass on little joints and stuff and a good structure, it always looks much, much heavier. If you had told me that's what you weighed, I would have thought you were a good 20 pounds more than that at the show.
Nah, man, and then I won that. Competed at the Olympia. I think I placed. Damn, I think I placed like 12th, bro.
Yeah,
really.
You were 10th one year. A couple years later, I know that.
Yeah. 2007, I placed 10th. Top 10. But so that happened, in 2005, and at that time, that's when Bob Ciccarello, Dan Solomon gave me the nickname, the Giant Killer. So for all the haters out there who keep freaking hyping up, saying, "Oh, Danny Padilla is the real Giant Killer," like, you know what? Fucking yes, we got it. We're talking about the dude guy's currently competing, not from yesteryear. You know what I mean? So I didn't name myself. You don't name yourself. That's kind of freaking moronic. But
we've had 3 blonde bombers. I can name 3 of them.
Right. So that's where it came from, man. That didn't pass through my head at any point in time. They gave it to me again because I was on stage at 187 pounds against guys who clearly outweighed me by 50 to 60 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and held my own. And to this day, it still was happening up until they created the 202, up until they created the 212. So that's where the Giant Killer came from. So
you did very well in the open, but 202 and then 212 is where you really kick some ass. when did you find out that they were coming up and creating this division, and what did you think about adding this division at that time?
Who called me? Robin Chang called me. Okay. Robin Chang said, "Hey man," he goes, "we're creating a division called the 202." He goes, "I think you'd be perfect for it." He goes, because that would give guys of your height and your structure a fair field to play on, and not have to be stepping out there against guys who clearly outweigh you that you'll never get to as far as size goes. And I was like, badass. He goes, "We're going to call it, the 202 Olympia Showdown." Like, all right, cool, man. I'm down. So let's do this. So they created it, man, and it all goes from there.
You won. You won the first title. You were the first.
I did win that one against the current 6-time 212 guy. So everybody seems to forget that part. I still got that nice shiny trophy. I'm one of only 3.
One of the pictures we're throwing up here is you with the trophy, and Flex is on one side and someone was on the other side. So the history is there.
Right, history's there. You can't take that away. You're a champion. You're always a champion. You're Olympia a champion. You're always an Olympia champion. So be that as it may, people still seem to forget that, and a lot of the new guys seem to think one person is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you might want to look at the history of the rest of them, to know who's really on that stage and why we're there.
You were the best. You were the best at one time. Kevin Inglis was the best at one time, and the judges have decided Flex Lewis the best. Everyone
that the best at one time on paper.
On paper, yeah. I mean, it's a matter of opinion. We can talk about it now. The Arnold Classic a year ago. A lot of us, you have an amazing physique. It's got a certain look to it. Ahmad Ashkenani has a very, very good physique. Different look to it. Right. A lot of people, if you asked last year, they preferred your look. In the end, it's opinion. It's opinion. But, I'm sure of those 4 years after you won, you took second place. And I'm sure at least 1 or 2 of those instances, it was like this. It could have gone either way with a flip of a coin, really. So it's got to be tough for you being in a sport where, especially where you came from track and field, where you cross the finish line at first and you win, and you throw the shot, things that are quantifiable like that, to something that's so subjective. Has it been a tough thing at times to deal with when things could have gone your way, but they just didn't for whatever reason? Because of a matter of opinion.
It's always a matter of opinion, and opinions are like assholes, so everybody's got one. So, at least I don't think so, right?
Yeah, at least
but yeah, I've had some super highs, I've had some pretty crappy lows with that, and anyone on any stage like that where you're judged by how you look will have that. But it's all about how you take that, how you bounce back, how you pick yourself up from those points. You don't let one show determine the rest of your career, and I've always said that. I mean, if you start slipping, contest after contest after contest, lower and lower and lower, then maybe it is time to reevaluate yourself and reevaluate what you're truly doing and what is going wrong. Okay, fine, but that hasn't been the case for me. I had one bad year, and that was 2014. And that has never happened again. I made sure, and that was my transition point because I retired from the military. I drove cross country, freaking like 6,800 damn miles, and all that stuff. So my head and everything else, thinking I was going to be prepared for this show, didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen. So that was definitely a slap in the face. To wake up and get it done. And if you see behind me there, that wall. Yeah. That wall up there has myself and Ronnie Coleman on the top, his last show, 2007. In the middle is me holding that nice 10th place top 10 at the Open Olympia check, Stacey Kaufman. And the bottom one I talk about being a big wrestling fan, that's Triple H in the middle right there. You can't really see. So that, so those are the history things, man, that you just can't get back. You can't repeat those eras. You can't recreate those scenes. You know what I mean?
Well, you use the word history, and Jose, in the interviews we used to do, a lot of times he would make reference to feeling like he was part of a small group of what he called the founding fathers of the 212 division, which he considered himself, you, Kevin Inglis, and Flex Lewis. You guys are the core of, he said 20 years from now, whatever, these 212 guys look back and say, these are the ones that really paved the way for us. You know, they made it possible for us to have this stage and this audience because it could have been a failed experiment. The 212 could have gone away. There have been things that didn't last. But you know, do you ever look back? I know you're still actively competing, so maybe this isn't something that's really going to be in your thought process until it's in your rearview mirror. But do you ever stop and think, wow, we really did take this brand new division and helped make it? I was part of this, making it the success that it is.
No, I sit there and think about that on a constant, man. I don't have, you know, a whole lot longer in the industry as far as actively competing. You know, I'll always be around, but you know, it's no one to say when, and that's not right now. But yes, I do believe I was the first 202 Olympia winner. So yeah, I was the guy that this at the time they were saying this was designed for. You know, of course, and everyone else started popping up and placing where they were placing and stuff like that during the time. But yeah, myself, Jose, Devin Flex Lewis, because he's been there since he was there when I won. Man, Charles Dixon even his old ass along with the rest of us. So, yeah,
sure.
You know,
sure, so, he'll appreciate that.
Yeah, you know what, Mr. Captain Crunch, we love you, man.
You guys are all about to say you guys are all like within a year of each other anyway.
Yeah, man, I'll be 43 in a couple weeks. Jose just that, you know, and stuff. And there's no shame in my game. You know what? Age is a number, and we're all getting older, despite how everyone wants us to talk about it. And health aside, I'm good. I'm still here. So no, I had a bunch of texts coming through and DMs from, you know, your special kids out there who like to be like, you know, slow down. You know, you're not going to be around for much longer. I'm like, wait a minute, you said this 6 years ago.
Well, they were probably 10 years old 6 years ago. These kids.
Their mentality is still 10 years old.
Oh man.
You know, I'm not one to mince words, man. I'm just a little sick and tired of trying to be PC with people who just don't deserve it and don't give it back. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do what I got to do. I'm gonna get on stage. We're gonna mix it up. My buddies are still my boys. Jose, Flex, Ashkenani is a cool dude. He's never done me wrong. There's nothing, you know, that I have any animosity to him or Hadi or any of the other competitors. Man, we all go out.
We gotta mention Eduardo and Guy, or else one of them might get upset.
Yeah, Eduardo, Guy, we've all hung out, man. We've all had, you know, beers together. We've all had, you know, food and stuff after the shows, and it was a good old time. And, you know, those things are lost in certain areas, and they don't realize the camaraderie really is there. You know, Jose and I filmed a buy and try training a week and a half ago or so, and that'll show up on both of our channels here when it's done, and you guys would be surprised at the look of that.
Well, I saw some pictures that were, you know, Michaela probably snapped him or somebody snapped him just in the gym. You guys are both looking just beyond ridiculous.
His guy was there also by himself. So
okay, well, they were good shots. I don't know if they were stills from the video or if he just took them on his phone. You know, when we did the MD column together years ago, you were still active duty Air Force, and you didn't ever really want to talk about it, which was cool. You know, it was, you know, everyone should have a little bit of private life and everything, but I was also reading another interview. I didn't realize there was a whole year you didn't compete, 2011, basically because whatever, your deployment, I don't know what the situation was. But, I mean, it seems to me, reading between the lines when you were talking to me, they didn't make it easy for you to be a professional bodybuilder. It seems like they weren't as cooperative as maybe they could have been. Am I right or wrong? Or if you don't want to talk about it, just like
No, I'll talk about it, bro. I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to word it right to where all the ones that are still in and got shit to say, well, a lot less shit they'll have to say. Yeah. But there's individuals that were in my units and stuff that did make it a little difficult to be who I am and what I wanted to do at the time. I granted it's service before self kind of stuff, you know. I get that, and I've done it. You know, kind of thing. But there's also, you have room to be an individual as well and go off and do things that you have to do. They were granting special permissions to all these other individuals because they were officers and they were hosing the enlisted, and that kind of pissed me off. So I took a little special, you know, pissed offiness with that, you know, and that drove me. But then, you know, I got actually a couple commanders who were fans of mine, if you will, and kind of let me do what I wanted to do. You know, as long as I did what I was supposed to do stateside and at home before I rolled out, they had no issue with that, man. You know, I pulled up the table, the paragraph and stuff, and I'd have that stuff highlighted and printed out. Every time somebody decided to give me shit, I'd be like, here you go.
You had to show your papers.
Table 7, Rule 33. Bite it. So,
awesome.
you know, if you can go off and do your little, you know, MMA fighting and all this other stuff, and I want to go do my pro bodybuilding, tell me what's the difference. There's not a difference.
Have you ever talked to Cedric about that?
No. Yeah.
I don't know if he had an easier time than you or a more difficult time. I really don't. I mean,
no. And you know what? Again, everything's individualistic, man. I was the only guy at the time who was active duty enlisted,
right,
doing what I did on that stage, period. No other pro can say that.
Right. The
entire time. So 12 of my years in were spent as a pro bodybuilder.
Wow. So the majority of your service career, basically.
Half my service commitment was spent as a pro bodybuilder all the way up until I retired. You know, so nobody can say that. Those are history things that can't be repeated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just because everyone's a pro now, so it's like there's no novelty in it.
There's a lot of pros right now. Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. But another legend, another time that I brought your name up many times over the years is when people try to say that old nugget: machines don't build muscle. I got 2 words for you: David Henry, because David Henry has, at the time, still does, one of the craziest, thickest set of pecs, craziest, thickest backs. Watch his training DVDs. He does a lot of heavy machine work. It's definitely a machine. It's loaded up with a ton of plates. So, but how are you telling me that machines don't build muscle when I'm looking at a guy using a machine who's got better development in those 2 areas than, you know, the majority of pro bodybuilders today? Did you have people giving you shit about that?
No. You know what? I again, you know, I don't listen to many people anyway. I'm just hard headed like that. I barely listen to my other half, but you know, she actually deserves for me to listen to her. The other ones, you know what? If you're not influencing my career, if you're not paying me, if you're not feeding me, I really ain't got much else to give you any type of credit. So that's how I feel about that, and that's just going to be the attitude on that one.
Okay.
I'm a weapons troop, guys. If you don't know what a weapons troop is in the Air Force, go look it up. I'm one of them.
Now I gotta go look that up.
We are smart asses. We are smart asses, and we will cut you no slack. If you come at us, that's all there is to it. You give it, prepare to take it back, and I'm gonna give it back to you.
Is that something only people in the Air Force would know that term, or every branch would know that?
No, every branch has their weapons troop. They might call them something else.
Okay.
Maybe the ammunition specialist, whatever, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
But you know, through and through, I'm a weapons troop, man, and that career field actually fit me quite well. But overall, though, man, I'm a happy-go-lucky dude. I'm smiling all the time. I'm having a great time in life, man. My life is great. I have no complaints. Health is good. Internally, I'm straight, you know, and everything. So, you know, there's really nothing I have to be down about, man. You know, so there's no attitudes. I mean, I give it if given, but other than that, have a good time.
Well, I think the next question was what might have helped your attitude. Anybody's life changes when they get married, and especially when they have a child. And you have been married about 10 years, I want to say, if I had to guess.
Yep. Well, yeah.
12 years, and your daughter's like 5 or 6?
She's 4. She'll be 5 next month, yeah.
Okay. So, you know, everyone's out, most guys out there will go through this, but how do you feel it changed you as a person, or, you know, your life changes? You have to become a different person when you get married and have kids.
Yeah, you do. You know, and well, you should.
You're right, not everyone does.
For guys, if you've got a daughter, you know, you hope that you are the man that your daughter looks up to, that she wants a boyfriend or a husband like. You know what I mean? You want to be that type of role model that she can be like, I want a dude that's like my dad. You know, and that kind of stuff. And hopefully you didn't screw it up enough and raise them up and drive them away from everything that you are. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that attitudinally it changed me, made me a lot more patient. Because kids will test your nerves, man.
Yes,
they will test every bit of it. You know, your parents said, "You getting on my last nerve."
Yes.
They like to jump all over it.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? It's taught me to calm down. It's taught me to laugh. It's taught me to enjoy life, man. Because there's so many incidences out there in this industry, in this world, where we're gonna be here talking the next, and you couldn't be the next after that, you know. And it's like ridiculous. Yeah. So enjoy the time that you have. You know, cherish the ones that you love, and they love you back, and give it back to them.
Okay. So Nikki is from the amazing state of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Somehow she convinced you to come live here with her, back to her roots. So you had grown up in Texas. I know they have cold in Texas. It snows a little bit here and there, right?
Not in San Antonio, it doesn't.
Okay, but then you went to Arizona. I know it doesn't snow in Arizona.
Yeah, you know what? My last several years in, man, we actually got a couple inches at times during the wintertime, and pipes froze on base.
Wow, okay.
It got down like 17 degrees, and people were freaking the hell out.
But nothing like 3 winters ago, you were here for the historic record-setting snowfall where City of Boston got 10 feet of snow
that was fantastic.
In 4 weeks, I think it was. And did you get more out west where you were or no?
Dude, I know, but we did get like 4 feet of snow. We had those 3 back-to-back blizzards, man. It was ridiculous.
It was every weekend.
Yeah. Yep, and not only was the snow, I mean, you would literally look outside and it would just be pouring everything to where the snow couldn't even pile up on each other. It was just sliding down and just creating mounds everywhere.
So, you know, how have you adjusted to it?
How did she convince me? You asked that question. You know what? She's dealt with me for 12 years, being in the military, active duty like that, and over deployments and stuff, and TDYs. And long hours during the week, and even longer sometimes on the weekend. So I guess the least I could do when I retired, and she says, I think we should move back. Family reasons. That's all it was. It's for family reasons. I sucked it up because she sucked it up. So you know, it's a give and take.
Yeah. Now I don't want to make this all a weather report, but I think it was you that I was talking to that was talking about. Was it Saudi Arabia was the first Gulf? Is that where we were most of the time? I can't remember. Oh, you weren't in that one. Well, anyway, you're in some desert environment where I remember you told, it was you, I think you told me.
During Operation Enduring Freedom.
Okay, it would be, I think you told me it would be like 120 degrees during the day and 30 degrees at night. Was that right?
It was close to that, brother. I tell you what, I think at 9 a.m., I remember walking to the piss tent, which was like 100 yards away.
Yeah.
And it was 108 degrees at 9 a.m. I'm like, are you? It almost was like you were walking, bro, and your piss evaporated before you had to get to the bathroom. You didn't even have to go anymore.
Yeah. No, I think you told me, or I read somewhere, in that kind of heat where it gets to like 120 or whatever all day, you needed 100 cups of water a day to stay hydrated, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, because it was such a dry heat that your body starts perspiring and evaporating at a rate that you don't even know that you're dehydrated, man. And and they tell you, commanders will tell you to gauge your urine color. You really need to do that. Get it as clear as you can, and your people, your supervisors and stuff will let you go and do what you got to do because they know everybody out there is in the same boat. They're going to be drinking a half load of water.
All right, now we go to the section of the interview where these are the questions I gathered. Not all of them. Some of them were just stupid questions. Sorry, guys, but they were from the forum. So my buddy the Goon, I'm going to lead with his because this question refers to barbecuing. Well, not everyone knows. You're probably,
awesome.
Probably as good at barbecuing as you are bodybuilding, right?
I'm better.
Better. So you were going to open up a food truck because you're so good at it and you had no one to, you wanted to cook all this good food that you couldn't feed all these people. Was that something you were going to do a couple of years ago, the food truck?
Yeah, it was. I actually, my wife and I, she was my sous chef, if you will. Okay. We actually fed my entire unit, man, twice, 450 people.
Ooh, wow.
Barbecued for that many damn people. And this stuff in a matter of an hour.
Wow. You were the only one cooking?
Yeah.
Wow. That's ridiculous. Okay, so Boone's question, because apparently he does a little bit of amateur grilling himself.
All
What's
right.
David's favorite wood to use for barbecue? That's the first question about barbecuing. Favorite wood?
Apple.
Apple, okay. Second question, do you prefer your ribs wet or dry?
Good question. I'm going with wet.
Okay. And my question is, did you ever do any kind of barbecue competition or thought about it?
Yeah.
Have you done it? Have you done
In
it?
fact, we were down at the Sun City Barbecue Fest in Hartford, Connecticut last year at the barbecue competition down there. So,
yeah, so
that's where I got my look at stuff. I was tooling around and I was checking all the different teams and stuff. I was like, okay, man, if I get a chance, I'm bringing my cook team up to this piece so I can smoke them because, man, I tasted some shit barbecue. And I didn't think I could say that. And I'm like, you fools are in a competition? Oh, like, ooh, you're burning suck. So, I was just testing out the competition and walking around and trying all the different ones and stuff like that. So, I do say, man, I'm pretty good. And anyone who doubts that, let me know what's up. I challenge you. You challenge me. Let's bring it on.
I don't want to challenge you. I just want to eat whatever you're cooking. How's that? So,
trust me, when I'm with Arnold, man, I already invited Jose and Michaela down to my house,
okay.
man. So,
all right, might have to sneak on down there. Next question is from Betty Ona. Your best diet and cardio tricks to eliminate fat. We won't do that. That's a whole long.
No, you're right. It's not long because
there are none.
I don't do cardio.
Damn it! Still no cardio.
I haven't touched cardio, bro. This whole Arnold prep.
Did you ever do cardio?
I've got an elliptical in my garage, man, that I haven't even stepped on. I don't even think I've dusted it off. So
boy, you should probably put that on Craigslist. But did you ever have to do cardio, or I don't think you ever did, right? No.
No, I think I jumped on there a couple times in the off season because my garage was like 17 below zero, and I just I didn't want to feel like going out and shoveling, so I was like, let me get on this and warm myself up before I headed outside. At least I'd be sweating,
Okay, but you still shoveled, right?
Okay. I snow blow. There's no shoveling.
Oh yeah.
Now, I don't know why people die every year doing that.
I have a snowblower, you can't. I don't want to bore everyone out there who doesn't live in places with snow, but you can't. If you have like a packed driveway and fences, you can't snowblow everything. You need space.
Yeah.
Remember that, people. If you're buying a house out here, get one where you can blow the snow wherever you need to. So my question to add to that was, has it changed for you? Do you have to diet any differently or harder or less carbs, anything, as you're 42, almost 43 versus 10, 15 years ago, or is everything the same?
Everything's the same, man. My cardio, my metabolism is still ridiculously fast. I got to still keep eating, otherwise I drop weight like a mofo. Not cool.
Yeah.
Grocery bill and stuff was still relatively high, but I thought it would slow down. Everyone's like, oh, you get older, your stuff should slow down. If you're actively competing, it actually shouldn't slow down. It should still be cranking right along once you make that switch.
Yeah.
And from off season crappy eating to straight out strict dieting.
I believe Leveroni told me a week or two ago his metabolism, he believes, is faster now than ever, which would be, I don't even know if that's medically possible.
I totally believe it.
That's insane. Next one was your favorite bodybuilder. Is there anyone that over the years you looked up to the most or thought had the best physique? Anything?
Not growing up. Competing as I was super early in my career, man, Lee Priest was the man. Still is, for more than one reason. Not only bodybuilding, but his whole outlook on life and things that happen and stuff. So he's still a cool dude. Still shoots me DMs and acknowledges me when he can. Same here. To me, that was the most down-to-earth person I could relate to. And when I took second to him at the Ironman in 2006, we really got to know each other because we did a photo shoot together and stuff, and found out he was into racing cars and stuff like that, like me growing up and everything. So, man, we had a few things in common. So that was a special time, man. And not a lot of guys can say they trained, competed, and hung out with the blonde myth, during his hierarchy of time.
Right. I didn't know you were into car racing. You were doing that as a teenager?
Yeah, man, we used to race in San Antonio a lot at Bun and Barrel, which is down over there. We used to race off of Southwest Military Drive, man. I had Chevelle, Nova, Trans Am, Camaro SS. Man, we dropped transmissions. We changed autos to standards. You know, we small block stuff. It took a 400, made a 383 stroker, all that silly stuff. So I rebuilt my transmission, my Trans Am when it blew up on the way to school.
So you had a fast and furious high school years, it sounds like.
I did, brother. All steel American muscle, man. That was the way to rock, man. It was great. I remember even when I got my diploma, I didn't go to graduation, right? So I was still a little hellion teen. I took my T8 and I parked it sideways in the teacher's parking lot because I was a jackass like that. And I went in and I made sure I graduated first, right? So I got my diploma and I came out and I just peeled out in 360 all kinds of marks in the teacher's parking lot before I took off.
Sounds like some high school.
I got home and I told my mom what I did. She just shook her head.
Wow.
Seriously.
Ridiculous. All right, next question from a gentleman named Noise. I'll summarize it. Talking about your legs, you know, they've been a challenge for you, obviously. What have you found that was very effective that you could pass on to others who have not had the easiest time? And I'm going to clarify that because it's not lack of mass. You have the mass. It's just some people have that genetic outer sweep, and I believe it is mostly genetic, that creates a different look to the legs. Yes. Two legs can measure exactly the same. Like Cutler used to always joke to me. He wasn't joking. He was laughing. He says, if people knew what my legs really measure, bro, they'd be shocked. They weren't as big as people always assume they were. It's just that sweep went. So all that being said, what have you found that's worked really well for you?
Well, as people have been, messaging me and stuff like that, I train legs 3 days a week, and it's at varying intervals and various levels, and it is all laid out in fortitude training. I've got a heavy day of 6 to 12. I've got a pump set day of 20 to 25 reps. Then I've got a 4x6 day of four reps, 6 sets, if you will, with 10 seconds rest in between. Each one. So those are the ones that have made my legs grow. Besides that, varying the types of exercises. Now everyone's on the elastic band bandwagon and stuff, if you will. When I was catching, I was catching heat for bodybuilders. What happened to using the old school muscle? And guys before you didn't use all that stuff. It's like, you know what? You keep thinking that, you keep staying the same, and I'm just gonna smoke on body, bro. So
they also used to eat shit like brewer's yeast and thought it was good for them.
Yeah. Right. So with things, man, everything changes on that. My legs have grown immensely. You will see the changes. They've even grown from the Olympia to now. Adductor size has been a very, very big highlight of this, because I'll point that out to anyone on that stage. Adductors, you'll see it, man. As soon as I hit the pose, there's the triangulated adductor muscle, man. You'll see it. It almost like it pops out on that kind of stuff. Side musculature, everything else has improved. So top to bottom, left to right, front to back, it should be where it is. And that's the reason why I think I took second last year to Ashkenani, because of those improvements. So that being said, you're going to see it this time. At the O, everything willing, and I don't slip on any ice and break my leg in the next couple weeks.
It's the Arnold. The Arnold.
I know. So you're gonna see it. I've paid attention. I'm not playing around. I never have, and I'm taking this as serious as the next guy. I know Jose. He's he's my boy, but he and I both know. We're probably sitting at home with our wives right now going, fuck him, no, fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. Because if he wins and you lose, if you win, he loses. So, yeah.
Yeah, we should be, man. But at the end of the day, again, when this is all said and done, we're going to travel together. We're going to have a good old time. We're going to be best boys and stuff. But that part does not show on the stage when you're up there. The judges are not going to be like, oh, those two are friends. Jose,
Yeah, exactly.
It shouldn't matter, at least, you know what I mean?
Right.
So again, at the end of the day, we want to beat each other. We will at some point. It's going to happen, and I want to be in the winner's circle. I think I deserve that Arnold title. Yeah. They've had one different one every time, so why not mine? You know what I mean?
The trophy's different every time. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, man. There's no repeat Arnold winner on there for the two.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Flex, Jose, Hide, Ahmad. Yeah, you're right.
Hey.
What was I going to ask about the show? No, I wanted to ask about your YouTube channel because we were talking about that before we started recording. So, what is the channel and what kind of content have you been putting on there?
So far, man, it's just been one gun video that I did 2016 with Real World Tactical, but I put that up first, and then just to test and make sure it was up there and people see it. I'm not taking it down. I'll leave it up, whatever. And the rest of them have been like the training stuff. Legend. I'm going for legend status, man. You know, I was called an icon and things like that. I'm like, icon. That sounds pretty good. Dave Palumbo called me that, so here we go. Let's stop with the haterade going. Icon. So to me, I said, I'm making my own legend, man. I want to be the guy that at the end of the day, at the end of this contest, at the end of the sport or physical arena that we're in, when they talk about Dave Henry, whatever body part they're going to talk about, great. Whatever other stuff they can say about me, positive or negative, fine. You know, I mean, you're not going to please everybody. And as long as they're talking about you, any press is better than none, you know?
Yeah. So what is that channel so people can check out the video?
It says David Henry, the real DH. Okay. So they should be able to find that, and across the banner backdrop says D Henry, the legend, whatever. So see it like that. I already had a bunch of subscribers, man, and things, so it's cool. You know, I'm trying to get it up there a little higher. You know, I'm working with a guy who's just extremely busy, so I may not be able to post content as often as the other individuals can do, but it'll definitely keep coming. At least probably one thing a week will show up. You're gonna see my gun training stuff on there. You're gonna see definitely barbecue and grilling on there. Two different things, guys. Yeah. That kind of stuff when it gets up. Grilling is fast and hot. Smoking, barbecue is low and slow. So differentiate.
I believe I did call it grilling a few minutes ago, of course.
No, you did, and it's fine. You know, I'm here to make the distinction, man. So confusion and stuff. They're like, oh, he didn't know what he's talking about if he didn't say grilling versus barbecue. So I know the difference. But so that stuff will be on there, man. And I believe those kinds of things. That there's not something else. There is people that do it, of course, we got it. But I'm saying as far as what I do as a primary, having those things as the alternate little bits that people will get to see too. Because you know you got the questions coming up, so I'm going to answer them. Yeah. Not stuff.
David Henry, the real DH on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the social media thing. It's hard for me to process because I started working in this industry long before there was internet or social media. Now it's so. I guess it's entangled in everything to the point where sometimes it's not even they're rating people how many followers they have on Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, or how many subscribers rather than what they're accomplishing as a bodybuilder. And there are people out there who really haven't accomplished anything, but they have these tremendous followings, and that's some of them have 3 million followers and they've never stepped on a stage or never done well. I mean, you got into the sport long before all that existed. What's it been like for you to watch the internet first and then social media more recently just really causes upheaval where the industry is nothing like it used to be?
I totally agree, man, wholeheartedly. It is zero like it used to be. This platform has given people who normally wouldn't say things to your face an outlet to say what they want to say. Yeah. For one, so you love it and you hate it at the same time. I tried to stay away from it as long as I possibly could, but then I realized I'm like, man, everyone else is on this bandwagon. I got to get on there too, because if you don't keep going ahead and forging ahead, you're gonna get left behind and stuff like that. And I refuse to be left behind. So as old man, technology and stuff, I'm still good with that. I'm not afraid of learning new things and stuff. So YouTube channel it is. And yeah, you're right. People with their 1.3 million followers and stuff never stepped on the stage, haven't done anything notable other than shirt off the entire 99% of the time doing crazy ass exercises for one that they ripped off of somebody else. They probably look better doing it, I guess, than not 60,000 views. I'm like, what in the hell? And I think IG did crack down on those individuals who were buying followers, and I think some people were losing like thousands of followers in a matter of days because of that.
Yes.
I'm glad they did, because everyone that see my 130. What's it called?
I think they were calling it follower gate or something like that. Everything has a gate, you know, like Watergate.
Yeah.
It was a big deal because it was all one weekend, like you said.
Yeah, so my 133,000 people that are on my IG have wanted and voluntarily done that. I didn't buy not one of those on there. I did have it private for a long time, and my wife made me undo it. So she's like, "Look, they're gonna say stuff. They're gonna say stuff." I'm like, well, that's where I get to go
delete block.
Delete block. I don't know about anything I ever do again, so you can go and find it elsewhere. But you know what? Everybody, you know, has been really receptive to that stuff. I try not to infuriate so many people over the years. You know I've said some stuff that might have taken people a little aback and things, and you know, for that I apologize if it came off the wrong way. But I'm almost done with apologizing for being who I am. You know, I'm not going to do it, man. I mean, if people know the real person, the real Dave Henry, you know, kind of stuff, they wouldn't say half the shit that they get to say on the internet. But you know what? If they're going to waste 5-10 minutes of their day to type some silliness, have a good time. Maybe you should volunteer at a homeless shelter, help your community, and positive life.
Right. All right, last question for you, Dave. You said you weren't, first of all, do people call you Dave or is it always David?
You know what's weird, man? It seems that women in my life call me David Henry.
I thought you preferred that. I never knew what you wanted people to call you.
You know, mainly the dudes, DH or Dave. Yeah. The women and my wife included, man, everybody, they say my whole name. I'm like, it almost seems like you're in trouble. You know, when you're
David Henry, they say the whole name.
They do, man. Even at work, man. Even at the gun store. I'm like, what is happening here? So
it's because you have a cool name. You have 2 first names. You know, David Henry.
But I'm not going to go there. So.
All right. So my last question for you is: you made a reference to this. You're probably not going to be doing this, competing actively much longer. But you know, I would argue last year's Arnold was all. I would say that was your best look. I haven't been to all your shows. I've been to a lot of them.
I agree.
You're not declining. You know, you're not getting any. You're not losing mass. You don't have any crazy muscle tears. You're not getting any worse. So in light of that, even though you know, on your driver's license, you're going to be 43 in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Couldn't you conceivably do this another 5, 6, 8 years if you really wanted to at the level you're at?
If I wanted to, yes. However, I'm trying to, you know, when it's all said and done, I do have other avenues that I want to go through. Just like we alluded to earlier, I would like to take my barbecue and stuff like that, and cooking to the next level when I have more time to do that. Yeah, I probably wouldn't even necessarily a food truck. It'd probably be like a trailer stuff to like college and universities and park outside, man, and only have it open for 3 days out of the week. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's it. I'd cook until I sell out, and then I'm pack it up for the week, you know, kind of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, that would be kind of difficult to do. You couldn't do that now. You just couldn't.
No.
So okay. Well, I thank you so much for taking an hour or more out of your time today when you got to, even though you don't do cardio, I'm sure the dieting isn't a piece of cake for you, is it?
That part, no, that sucks. Yeah. So
nobody gets shredded glutes and lower back spaghetti without suffering greatly. It just doesn't happen. So.
Well, we're 2 weeks and a day out, man, at the filming of this, I guess. So I haven't suffered too much. Definitely and I'm not even calling it peak week because that's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm already ready. I'm ready ahead of time, which is the goal. So that way we can tweak and twist anything that needs to happen. But I don't think that is the case. I'm already ready to rock, man. Things are in place, lined up, and delineated where they need to. You know, everybody was talking about, you know, who will be in shape for those days. And I know I pointed out a shoulder exercise out saying, if you have that line, this is going to help you get it, and this will let you know that you're in shape. So, a line where it runs all the way around here.
Yeah.
One right there.
You would have to move up a little bit. It's talking. You're talking about the like. It looks like your deltoid is just like completely separated from the rest of your upper arm.
Right. That's the line I'm talking about.
The whole thing, all the way around. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got the ridiculous arms, guy. Let me tell you. But anyway, okay, cool, man. You almost won this. A lot of people thought you should have won it a year ago. So I love Jose. I'd be very happy if Jose won. I'd be very happy if you won. You're both amazing competitors. You've been doing this. You're the veterans of the division. You guys have really made this division what it is. You and just a couple others, really. So it's always a treat to see you, because I know you're both not going to be around forever. You're both going to move on and do other things in life within the next couple of years, I'm sure. But it's been amazing to be able to watch you guys over the years as you've both grown and matured and become top of the game, top in the world.
It's been fun. It's been awesome. I love having interviews with you guys. You guys ask some great questions. Gives us a chance to think a little bit. Maybe there's been stuff we could have added in. And if I left some things out, then catch me on the next one or whatever. But I'm always open.
We'll be seeing you, Giles, and I will be seeing you in Columbus. Of that, I'm sure, my friend.
Yeah,
we'll be there. We'll be there. Yeah. So cool, man. I will see you there. I'm wishing you the best of luck. Don't slip on any ice, please. I want to see an amazing battle between Jose Raymond and David Henry once again. Godzilla and King Kong, two titans. It's going to be epic. Can't wait.
So I already got the shredded face, so you see where this is going.
You do have the Skeletor face going on for sure.
Yeah, it's ready to rock, brother.
All right, thank you so much for the Ronline Report. This has been Ron Harris with the Giant Killer, David Henry. Thanks for watching.